Lego. It's the original Batman.
Hi, it's Nørgaard. So today I'm doing a little dupe video. So today I'm going to dupe the Amrezy palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. So I got this when it came out pretty much, and I do really like this palette. But then recently I saw that W7 had a little pink and glittery palette. This one is called Show Off, and I immediately knew that this was going to be a dupe for the Amrezy palette. So I think the Amrezy palette looks a tiny bit prettier. The Amrezy palette is more of like a true pink. This one has a little more peach in it, and I like the font a bit better. Also, this is a lot more heavy, like it's a lot more like actually heavy, whereas this one is really light. So even though they're both like a cardboard kind of material and packaging, this one definitely feels more high-end. It is more high-end, so that makes sense. So the Amrezy palette retails for $49, which I think is completely fine considering the quality and the amount of colors that you get. And you also get a dual-ended brush that I'm going to use in the little comparison tutorial. So I do think that it's very reasonably priced. Now the W7 dupe retails for $6.95 US. So you could buy 7 of these palettes for the price of one Anastasia palette. This one has 2 shadows less than the Amrezy palette. A lot of the other ABH palettes, they have the 14 shades like this one, and that is kind of the layout the W7 base their dupe palettes on. But recently, with like the Amrezy palette that we have right here, you have 16 shades. I believe the Carly Bible palette also has 16 shades. And the 2 colors that the dupe does not have is New Yorker and Hugo. So as you can see, OG and New Yorker are really similar. So taking out one of these 2 colors is not gonna affect the overall palette that much. And then the other color that's missing, as I said, is Hugo, which is like a really dark, like purpley brown color. Of course, there's nothing quite like this color in the palette, but you do have a black, you have a dark brown, and you have the dark kind of like purpley pink. So I think it was a smart choice for W7 to take out those 2 colors. Now, of course, if you use this palette again and again, most likely you are going to use up either one of these 2 colors, because these are like what you would typically use in the crease, and you would set up most looks with these 2 colors. But if you're not using the palette like an everyday palette, then just having 1 crease color should be fine. And also, as I said, you could buy 7 of these palettes for the price of one Amrezy palette. So if you were to run out of the crease color, you could just purchase a new palette. And by the way, did I tell you that the W7 palette also comes with a little brush? I'm also using that brush in the tutorial, of course. And both brushes from each palette are actually extremely nice. They are definitely not the kind of brushes that you would just like throw away. But of course, there's more to it than just what the colors look like on the outside, like in the pans. So I did go ahead and I did this eye look. So I did 1 palette on each eye. So of course now I want you guys to guess which side is which. So which side do you think is Amrezy and which side do you think is W7? Comment down below. Pause the video, comment down below. So if you guessed that this eye is Amrezy and this eye is Show Off, then you would be correct. So there are minor differences between each eye. I will talk more about it when I do the tutorial. But I will just say that I love this dupe. I think it is really nice. I think if you don't have the nearly $50 to spend on the ABH palette, or if you just don't want to spend that much money on an eyeshadow palette, then you could definitely get the W7 one, and I think you would be really pleased with that palette. So yeah, that is all I had to say for now. I'm going to let you go ahead and watch the little tutorial so you can see how the palettes perform in action and see how they compare. So before we get into it, don't forget to thumbs up the video if you enjoy it. And without further ado, here comes the little tutorial. So from the Amrezy palette, I'm going to take the color OG, which is just a nice one-toned brown, and it's matte. It's almost the same as New Yorker. It's just a little less orange. I feel like New Yorker has a little bit more of an orange tint. And of course I'm going to take the Dupe color in the W7 palette called Parade. And if I hold them up side by side, I hope you guys can see that Parade is closer to OG than it is to New Yorker. And both palettes come with little dual-ended brushes, and they are very similar. The Amrezy one is slightly fluffier, and the W7 one is a little more stiff. And on the other end, the Amrezy palette one is more like the blending brush is a little shorter, whereas the W7 one, oops, the W7 one over here is longer. The bristles are longer, but they feel extremely similar. So anyway, I'm going to take the OG color from the Amrezy palette and my Anastasia brush, and I'm going to blend this color into the crease. I only picked up a tiny bit. You can see just how much product is distributed. It's really pigmented, and I'm kind of focusing it in the outer crease, a little bit in the outer corner, but I'm bringing the color inwards in the inner crease also. And here we go with the W7. So I have applied about the same amount, and it's a lot less pigmented, as you can see. I'm just building it up a bit just to get a little more pigment. Okay, I'm going in for a third time, so hopefully I can build it up to be the same intensity as the Amrezy palette. Okay, so here we have the colors. So as you saw, it took more time to build up the color, which is not really a big deal for me because I actually like being able to build up colors slowly. I actually felt a little overwhelmed when I used the OG color over here, but I must say the blend over here is beautiful. I also liked how it blended out over here, so I feel like the colors are slightly different also. The W7 one is more orange, it's a little lighter, whereas the ABH is a little more red toned and it's a little deeper. But anyway, they are super similar. And also I just wanted to show you the amount of fallout you get. So the color is right here. You can see it kicks up quite a bit of powder. And this is the W7 one. This one is not as bad, but it's definitely still powdery. So before I do anything else, I'm actually just going to apply a little bit of powder, just my face powder on my brow bone. Just because there is no like brow bone highlight in the palettes, at least not any one that I want to use, because I don't want a shimmery brow bone, I want a matte brow bone. Then I'm going to take a darker brown called 1988, and the dupe is called Influence in the W7 palette, and I'm just sticking to the same blending brush, and I'm focusing this color in the outer corner and into the outer crease, and I'm not gonna take it all the way in like I did the other color. And then with a little bit more of the crease color, I'm just going to blend out this darker brown. Then I'm going to do the same on the W7 side. Again, the pigment is not as intense as the Anastasia palette, so it's actually not too bad. I didn't add any additional product. This is just from going into the eyeshadow once. I am going to apply a little bit more now because I feel like it needs to be a little bit darker to match up with the other eye, but it's not bad at all. I think you just need to work it in a bit more. And then again I go in with a tiny bit more of the crease color and I just blend out the dark brown. Also again, the Anastasia palette has some kickback, whereas there's almost no kickback in the W7 palette with this color. Anyway, let's now do the eyelid. I'm going to take Gorgina and Dragon. So Gorgina is going to go on the outer part of the lid and Dragon is going to go on the inner part. So I start out with Gorgina and I'm applying it dry. It's giving me a tiny bit of fallout. It is a very pretty like dark bronzy shimmery color. And now I'm applying Dragon. I flipped the brush over And I'm just applying that on the rest of the lid. Okay, and then I'm just going to quickly blend out the crease and the outer corner, like that. So for the dupe palette, I'm going to take this color called Flash, which is a dupe for Gorgina, and then the color Ruler, which is a dupe for Dragon. And I'm going to apply these colors in the same way. So I feel like in the pan, this Flash color that I'm applying right now looks a little bit more like khaki than Gorgina. Like it looks just slightly, the tone is just slightly off, but it's applying really beautifully. This is again not wet or anything, just straight from the palette onto the lid. And then we're doing Ruler on the rest of the lid. This one definitely, you can see the difference. And also it's applying a little bit like clumpy. I'm having a hard time like distributing it. Like I really have to work with it to get it to like spread out, which is kind of weird. Okay, then I'm just going to blend out the crease, the outer corner. Okay, so these lid colors are definitely a little bit different. I feel like the W7 side is more shiny. The gold color is more chunky. I feel like the difference between the two colors is bigger. As over here, it looks very gradient. Like you can barely tell there are two colors on the lid. But still, it looks really similar and I actually like both looks. And I just wanted to show you that these shimmery colors, they don't really have any kickback. So we use these two colors up here and you can see there's like basically no kickback. The shimmery colors in the Anastasia palettes are usually really creamy. And the same is the case for the W7 palette. So we use this color, and as you can see there is no kickback. Again, the colors are really creamy in consistency. So now we're going to move on to the pressed glitter up here called Gemini. And the dupe in the W7 palette is called VIP over here. So just to make it as easy as possible, I'm using the same brush and I'm just lightly tapping this glitter over the lid. I did spray the brush this time to try and avoid the glitter fallout, but as you can see it's still happening. But the pressed glitter is really pretty. It really sparkles and it's really beautiful. So you can see I got quite a bit of fallout there. Just gonna sweep that away. And I'm just going to lightly tap over the glitter with my finger. If you have short nails, I would recommend that you do this because this is just going to really reinforce the glitters onto your eyelid so they're less likely to flake off. So I'm doing exactly the same with the W7 color. I pick some up on the same brush and then I spray it with some setting spray, and now I'm just tapping it on the lid. So again, just like with the shimmer shadow, I feel like this glitter shadow is a little more chunky. I hope you guys can see that the glitter over here is a lot more settled. And again, as you can see, I did get some fallout. So I'm brushing that away. And then I'm going to go ahead and tap this glitter in with my finger. Okay, I'm just going to try and add a little more glitter over here because maybe it's just a matter of applying some more. Also, I feel like the glitter fallout on the Anastasia side is worse because the glitter is finer. And whether you like more chunky or more lightweight or like finer glitter is very much a personal preference. But I know some people like finer glitter better because it doesn't look as childish. Now personally, I also love a good chunky glitter. But yeah, as I said, it's personal preference. But yeah, this is where we are so far. The glitters are not completely identical. I also feel like this eye looks a little bit more patchy because the glitters are so chunky. It looks more smooth and seamless over here. But again, it's like little itty bitty details. Also, I wanted to mention it was pretty hard to pick up the W7 glitter. I have to kind of like scrub in there to get the product out. Whereas with the Anastasia glitter, it was really easy to pick up. So now we are moving on to the black called BK, and it's called Rebel in the W7 palette. And with the black color, I'm just going to do a soft cat eye, and I'm not taking it all the way into the inner corner. But this black is nice, except that it does have some fallout. But it's really nice and dark, and it's really nice and even. There is no patchiness to it. And now I'm doing the W7 side, and I am using the same brush. Please don't hate me, I don't have two angled eyeliner brushes, so I cleaned it up, or cleaned it off the best I could. And this one is actually also applying really well. I'm really impressed. It's really nice and dark, and it doesn't look patchy, it doesn't skip. I do have a little bit of fallout. Okay, I really liked the black in both palettes. I actually used less black from the W7 palette. I think I went into the Amrezy palette like 3 or 4 times, whereas on the W7 palette I only went in twice. Now I'm going to use this beautiful color. This one is called Barb. It's like a pink with some green reflex. The dupe in the W7 color, palette is called Flirt. So I'm going to take this around the tear duct, and I'm just going to of course blend it up onto the upper eyelid. And now for W7, that actually looks super similar. I was very interested in this color because Barb is a very unique eyeshadow, so I was wondering if they were able to dupe this color. It's not 100% a perfect dupe, but it's really close. And by the way, I also applied these colors dry, straight from the pans. Yeah, I'm really impressed at how similar these eyeshadows are. So now I'm just going to apply my mascara and my lashes, and then I'll be back and we can do the lower lash line. Okay, so I went ahead and put on my mascara and some falsies. And I did the technique today where you place the outer corner of your false lash on your eyelid instead of right next to your lash line. So it just slightly lifts up the eyes and gives you more of a cat eye shape. So yeah, now we can do the lower lash line. So for the lower lash line, I'm simply going to mix OG with 1988. I go ahead and dab that on my lower lash line all the way in. I'm just blending it down. And then I use Parade and Influence. I just go ahead and dab that on the other eye and just kind of blending it down. And I did wipe off my brush, of course. So to finish off the eye look, I'm just going to apply some Essence Kajal pencil in the color Teddy to the upper and lower waterlines, and some bottom lash mascara, and then I will be back with the finished look. Okay, so I applied my eyeliner in my waterlines, and I applied 2 thin coats of mascara to my lower lashes, and of course I applied my lip. So these are the finished eyes. Like looking at myself in my mirror that's on my table, like I cannot see a difference. If I take a mirror and go really up close, I can see like little itty bitty details that are different. Things like the glitter being chunkier on the W7 side. But yeah, I feel like the glitter is actually the main difference that I see. I feel like now that all the colors have been blended together, I can't really tell the difference between each eye. Like before, I could tell that the crease color was slightly different from the Anastasia palette to the W7. Now I can't see that at all. So I am really impressed with this W7 palette. And also I have been wearing this look for a little bit because I went and had dinner and I did some laundry. So I have been wearing it for like 2 hours maybe, and there is no creasing whatsoever. Sometimes when I use pressed glitters, I can experience a little bit of creasing or where like the glitter collects in the crease, but that has not happened on either side. So yeah, I'm extremely impressed. W7 just knocks it out of the park every time with these dupe palettes, I feel. Oh yeah, and by the way, I have swatches on my hand because I'm doing like a little a little other video and I forgot to remove them. I'm not even sure if I can use just a wet wipe to remove them. Yeah, I guess I can. Okay, hold on. I'm going to just get this off my hand. So anyways, as I was saying, I'm really fond of this dupe. Let me know down below what you think. Like, can you tell a big difference? And as always, don't forget to thumbs up the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And that is it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. So take care and bye bye.
Original, 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 original Batman.
It's V-Kills.